Welcome back, everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and let's add in something called an else if statement. So I'm going to go else if, and I'm going to type in a main is not equal to 3. Okay. So first of all, if we run this here, it runs it line by line here, except we have to actually add in this code here. And let's go ahead, let's go to a main is equal to a main minus 1, something like that. And we're going to go ahead and run that here. Simple enough. Okay, so let's walk this through. Again, what it does is it goes through line by line. So if a main is equal to 3, then we're going to add 1 to a main. If it's not equal to 3, okay, and let's just make this equal to 2, for example. If it's not equal to 2, not equal to 3, what ends up happening is it goes and it subtracts it from 1. And let's like a main something different, because that's going to get confusing here. Let's make it 9. Okay, so there we go. It makes it 8. And then if else, what ends up happening, if there was an else statement possible here, it would go ahead and run the else. Let's go ahead and let's say if a main is equal to 3 or it's greater than 3. Okay, so in this case, is a main equal to 3? No. So it goes to the else if. Is a main greater than 3? Yes, it is. Let's go subtract 1. Now, if we go ahead and make a main 1, run it, it should go to the else. So a main is equal to 2. So the way this works is a main equal to 3? It is not. Is a main greater than 3? It is not. Therefore, we go to the else. Now, like I said in the last tutorial, you can have per if statement, you can have 100 if statements if you want, but per if statement you can only have one if and one else. But you can have unlimited else if statements. So watch this. I'm going to copy the else if and I'm going to paste it in here. Okay? And I'm just going to make sure I delete it so that the indentation looks more correct. So for example, let's say is greater than 8. Okay? And instead of a main minus 1, we're going to make a main plus 10. So let's go put a main to 9, and we'll walk through it. Okay? So what will end up happening here is you can see that a main is not equal to 3, so we don't do this. A main is greater than 3. Okay? And it's greater than 3. And so it runs this. Technically, it is also, a main is also greater than 8, but it doesn't run that because it already stops here. So what we can do with an else if statement, just like an if statement, is we can go ahead and we can add in an and. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to go a main is less than 8. Okay, and of course we need that extra bracket there, and we're going to run that here. And then we can see that a main is less than 8 here, so we'll put that 90 there, and there we go. There we go. Okay, so what ends up happening here is you can see that, you know, a main is it equal to 3? Yes, else if a main is greater than, and we have to actually put the less than here actually. So the less than 8, and then we can go ahead and then you can see that it does add to that. So let's just go ahead and put that back down to 9. And there we go. And so there we go. That does work. So a main is equal to 3. It is not. So we skip this. Else if is a main greater than 3 and less than 8? It is not. So we skip that. Is a main greater than 8? Yes, it is. And we go and skip that here. And if we put this back to 1, none of those conditions are true. So it ends up a main is just going to equal to 2. All right. So else if statements are really important. If statements are really important, and you can use them quite a bit. And you actually use this in pretty much all levels of programming. Now, one thing about if statements is that eventually you want to graduate from the if statement to other forms of programming, and it actually can be a little bit tricky. So for the first bit here, you definitely want to set up the if statements, because if statements are pretty easy to understand, but at the end of the day, you do want to learn some more robust programming techniques to eventually use them much less than when you do when you're first starting out. All right, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.